Welcome to Module 2, Lesson 5. So today we're going to be still using the number line to solve problems, and we're going to be doing word problems involving time by adding and subtracting on a number line. So same basic thing that we're going to be doing here, but this time we're kind of taking it a step further in recognizing when you begin in something and when you end it, and some comparisons. Anyways, we'll go ahead and jump into it. I'll give you an example of what I mean, and then I'll kind of show you some other ones as well. So we'll jump straight into it. So I can do a problem and say, let's say Carlos got to class at like 9:08. So Carlos gets to class at 9:08, and he's there a little early, and so he has until 9:30 to get all of his homework done and everything caught up. So class starts at 9:30. Now, this would be in a word problem normally, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to write an entire word problem up here. So I will kind of do spark note a little bit. So Carlos, he gets to school at 9:08, and he has until 9:30 to complete any of his work. So, and the question is, how much time does he have to complete any of the tasks that he needs to do? So the question is basically asking, if he's at 9:08 and he needs to be done at 9:30, how much time does he have until he needs to be done? So, kind of this would be viewed as a normal subtraction problem. If you are starting at 8 and you're ending at 30, how many numbers are in there? If you counted all the way up, what would that be? And there's a couple methods of doing this, and yes, if you're thinking, could you just do 30 minus 8? Well, you're right, you can do that. You can just straight up do 30 minus 8. But I want to go ahead and step into a different realm and practice a different method so we can underline how time elapses and how you can go forward and you can view it and all those wonderful things. So, to do that, I want to go ahead and look at this number line. And I want to plot 9:08 and 9:30 onto this number line. Now, first thing we want to do is we want to make sure we're using the correct hour. And we're in the 9th hour, so what I'm going to go ahead and do, at the 0, I'm going to say that's 9 o'clock, and this is 9:05, 9:10, 9:15, 9:20, so on all the way forward. And when you make a group of 60, it bumps up to the next hour, and so at the 60, that's 10 o'clock. So 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and all of this is in between 9 and 10 o'clock. So now we can find 9:08. 9:08 would be, we're already in the 9, and we just need to find the 8 minutes. And all of these are the minutes, remember that. Now, once again, I've mentioned this before, but yes, you can do all the tallies in between these. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and all that to find the location that you need. But remember, there's other strategies you can use for this. Instead of counting all the way to 8, I know 8 comes after 5 and is before 10, so I know it's somewhere here. So I'll just start at 5 and go 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. I'm putting all those lines there for a reason, just to make sure I am putting it in the exact spot. So I'm starting at 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to go ahead, plot this point right here, and say that this right here is 9:08. That's 9:08. We good? Awesome. Now I need to plot 9:30. And thankfully that's a 30. We don't need to draw any extra lines or anything. We see a 30 here. It's 9, so 9:30. So I'm going to go ahead and plot that point right here. And this is 9:30. Now I've done it. I've shown 9:08 and I've shown 9:30. Now the question is asking, how much time from 9:08 to 9:30 does he have? Basically just saying how many minutes are between 9:08 and 9:30. And once again, you can do a strategy of just going, okay, I'm going to count from here all the way up and do all those little tally marks. Remember, there's another strategy you can do. We already have this built out to count by 5s. So there's a couple of methods you could do here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to count those 5s up first. I'm not going to even look at these two little bits here. I'm going to start here and go, that's 5, 10, 15, 20. Alright, because 5, 10, 15, 20. So I'm going to write 20 right there, as in that's one of my numbers I'm using. Now, remember, this is kind of going back to what we talked in Module 1, is when we like take an array, we break the array apart, solve each separate, and we glue them back together. Same thing here. I'm going to break up this bit away from this, solve them separately, and I'm going to put them together. Now, I'm at 908, and before I started counting by 5s at the 910. So I need to know what else am I missing in this spot right here. In 908 to 910, we can count that by going 1, 2. And so I have 20 plus 2. And that will give us our answer to this. And 20 plus 2 is 22. So that's what you need to be doing with this. You have a starting time, you have an ending time. How much time's in between those points? And you can count it up. And once again, yes, you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. You can do that. You can, but it's more convenient to get into this pattern of going, okay, that's 2 plus 5, 10, 15, 20. So 2 plus 20 is 22. And writing it out. Don't forget to write it out because that will help. Now, I showed you one example of how you can find the difference between two times. Now, there's some other examples that you can do with this as well. I will go ahead and show that to you right now. I'm going to keep all those numbers there just because, well, time still has a 5, 10, 15, 20 in it. And I'm going to go ahead and make those a little bit nicer. I'm going to erase these points so we don't get these confused with our new problem. And let's say that David, I'll leave those marks there because it's okay. It's not wrong. It's just, it exists. It's there. Let's say that David has soccer practice at 9 o'clock. Not 9. We already used 9. At 4 o'clock. So David has soccer at, I think I said 4 o'clock. At 4 o'clock. But David's late. He's running late. He shows up, or he arrives, at 4:12. You can ask, how late was David? Now, this is probably more of a straightforward example here, but I know 12 is between 4 and 5. I know that the 4 is starting at the 0. I am doing this in person because sometimes this is something that does get missed. The 0 stands for 4 o'clock, so I'd mark that up right there. And then I find 4:12, so 10, 11, 12, mark that up. And do my counting strategy again, so going 5, 10. I can't make another group of 5, so that's 10 plus 1, 2, 2. And so I would do 10 plus 2, and you would get 12. Now, yes, you could just look at that and kind of figure it on your own, but it's the method that I'm wanting you guys to work on right now. So please just kind of keep that in mind. Now, there are other ways that you can do this as well. Let's say I am not working in the realm of 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. What I'm doing is I'm doing a comparison. Or, not necessarily a comparison, but we'll just do the problem and I'll show you. So let's say Mr. Luthi assigned reading homework, and I told you, go read. Just read as many minutes as you can a day. And on Monday, we will say Allison reads 26 minutes on Monday. And then she reads 23 minutes on Tuesday. And my question would be, how many minutes did Allison read on Monday and Tuesday? That's the only question. And once again, you might be, oh, I just add those two numbers together. And you're absolutely correct. I'm glad you're able to recognize that. If you don't recognize it, that's fine, because we're talking about a number line, so your brain might be focusing on this right now, which is fine. If you don't get it either based off either one of those, Once again, that's okay. Remember, learning is a process. If you're not getting it right away, that's fine. That's part of the learning process. All I'm caring about is that you're working on it and you're trying and you're doing your best. So keep that in mind. Failure is just another step to success. Just keep that in mind. Now, I'll show you an example of what I have seen in the past of some scholars of some examples scholars might make. Now, when writing this out, I will see this a lot. I will like, okay, so Allison reads 26 minutes on Monday, and so I'll start at 0 and I'll go up to 26. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and it's just one more than 26, and say that this is 26, which is correct, right? And remember, I'm asking the total. I'm asking how much did she do Monday and Tuesday together? So this is the problem that I see. I see then now some people go, okay, 23, 5, 10, 15, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, marking the 23 right there and say, oh, the answer is 23 right there. Now, you may see a problem here. If you're not, that's okay. I'm about to explain it. Am I adding those two numbers together in this format? No, I'm starting at 0 from both of them. When you're adding, you take a number and then you add to that number. So putting 23 here is not helpful at all. That's not what you need to do. When you add, if I'm adding 26 and 23, I start with 26 and then I put 23 on top of that. So instead of going back to 0 here and counting up to 23, I start at 26 and then count up 23 from there. So let's go ahead and do that. So starting at 26, I'm counting up 23 from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, let me go ahead. I'm going to do some tallies right here all the way up just so that maybe we can try to do our skip counting here. And I don't know exactly how far it is right off the top of my head, but let's see what happens. All right, there we go. So we need to add 23 to this. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to skip count by 5s and then do the 3 and see if it works. So I'm going to start right here because 1, 2, 3, 4. There's not a full 5 there, so I am going to start right here. Bear with me on this. I'm going to go up 20 because I can't go up 23 by skip counting by 5, so I'm going to go up 20. I'm going to go 5, 10, 15, 20. Now I need to do those 3 more, right? Because I'm at 23. And so I go 1, 2, 3, but there's 4 spaces right there. So there's a problem. If I just do this, I have actually made a mistake here. I have 1 extra. I have now added by 24. Now count with me. Because this is 5, 10, 15, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That's a problem. We've gone too much. So sometimes this format strategy doesn't work the very best. So what you need to do instead is start at that 26 and then get to a 5 and then go from there. So let me show you. So you can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Say that bit is 4 right there. And then skip count by 5s from 4. So going 4, 9, because 4 plus 9 is, sorry, 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 plus 5 is 14. 14 plus 5 is 19. And then 19 plus 5. What's 19 plus 5? Think about that for a second. 19 plus 5 would be 24. Now, is 24 the number we're going for? No, it's not. 24 is too far. So instead of skip counting by 5 one more, we're going to take a pause and then count up by 1s from where we're at. So we're at 19 right here and go 20, 21, 22. And so that's 3 right there. And we can double check this to make sure we've done this right. This is 5, 10, 15. And then plus 4 and 3, 9, 19. 19 plus 3 is, oh, sorry, did I say 3? 1, 2, 3. Did I make? Hold on a sec. I may have made just a mistake right now. Let me just do a quick double check on this. So 5, 10, 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 19, 20, 21, 22. Ah, I did make a mistake. 23. I need to get one more further. So there's actually another 4 right there. See, now, I wish I could say I did this as an example, as in checking your work. But I honestly made a mistake here. I made a mistake. But I checked myself. And by checking myself, I was able to realize, wait a second, that's supposed to add up to 23. It only added up to 22. Where did I make that mistake? I found it. Now that should be a 4, and that equals up to 23. Which means I've gone the right amount now. Now, right here you might ask, oh, you're done with the problem. Yes, but at the same time, no. You show me the picture, but now the question is, after you've added 23 to 26, where did you end? Where did you end? So what you can do here is just count up from that 45 till you get to that dot. 46, 47, 48, 49. So what is the total amount of time she has read Monday and Tuesday? She has read a total of 49. So I know that was kind of a long example, but there's another problem that you could do with this as well. And I'm just going to kind of verbally talk to this one. You can say Allison read 26 minutes on Monday. She read 23 minutes on Tuesday, right? How much more did she read on Monday than she did on Tuesday? And you do 26 minus 23. But if I were to visualize that on a number line this time, let me just make sure I can erase all those things to a point. This one, you would want to put the 23 right here and then count that's 1, 2, 3 and find out that she read 3 more minutes on Monday than she did on Tuesday. So this would be the one where you started at 0 for both of them, because then you're comparing them. You're saying this one did more than the other. If I both started here and one stopped and the other one kept going, what's that difference between these two? That's what the question is asking. So it's very important to know what the question's asking, so you know, are my numbers all starting at 0, or are my numbers being stacked on top of each other? Another good example of something like this is what you may have seen in a problem set from the very first lesson in this module of saying, like John ran the race in 16 seconds, Jack ran in 14, and all that, and like who ran faster. They all started at the same point, but some people finished before the others, and then it's asking who finished first, who finished last, and what's the difference between those. So just kind of give an example of that, and just an example of it's very important to know what is your question asking. If you aren't sure, reread the question again, find out what information you know, what information you don't know, what you're trying to get. Am I trying to take things apart? If I'm looking at two things, comparing them, or am I taking things and am I adding them to each other? Just kind of keep that in mind. Hopefully this was helpful. Once again, if this is a little confusing, you can watch this again. Zern, it will help out in this, so with your problem sets. So with that, I hope you guys have a great day.